Hello everybody, this is Blue Steel here with another Towns mod update of mine. As you can see on this title screen there now, I've also included text on it so that you can see what mod pack you've got installed and that you do in fact have it installed. So let's just get on with it. I've got a game already being played, well and truly advanced. So I'll go start game, normal game, continue game. Now this is using my mod pack, not the standard Towns thing. My mod pack doesn't actually benefit the player in any way apart from the layout of the UI and that you can see how much stock you've got now. The only difference is how it improves the gameplay. The other things like the chicken farms, the poultry farms and everything like that, all they do is they increase the amount of food that you can grow. They still take just as much time as to have a chicken farm as it does to have a cow farm and stuff like that. It just allows you to farm chickens, and then there's the pear farms and the apple tree farms. The pear farms and apple tree farms, they produce 2 apples in about the same time as the normal apple trees take to produce between 1 and 3 apples. So I've tried to find a balance there in them. I'm going to be reducing that number of apples and that get produced. If you can see here, have a look at this mini map up here. As you can see, it's using my map generator mod, where all along the riverbank there's the rainforest, and that did have toadies in it. And there's islands in my lake which I've tried to explore. Why I've got all these holes in the side here around the water sources is so that when you scroll down you can see where you can dig and where you can't dig, as far as you can dig to. So that's a tip for new people in Minecraft. If you're not sure where you can dig and you see water source on top, like this little well here that doesn't show through, but I now know that I can't dig any further than that around there. Otherwise I'll unleash the water. Okay, so with this one, as you can see, I've got up to 125 in population. I will be releasing the save game, but people will require my mod to be able to play it and stuff like that, but it's off to an excellent start. With the food supplies, let's talk about the mod pack in general first. The mod pack has got, I've got buildings up here now which include every building type that you can have, and I've put them all in as carpentry, bakery and everything like that. Now anything that you want to do with the masonry, say, it's under masonry, except for production wise, except for the extra utilities that you need to be able to make to build stuff elsewhere. Let me explain these menus. Excuse me. The way the menus are set up. First of all, this menu on the right here is make and place. Don't forget that. Without most of the stuff in here is you make it and you place it. That cannot be removed or moved around or anything like that, unless most of the stuff you can by deleting the zone or the floor of the place, which is here, nice and handy, instead of having to come down here to the zones menu. It's up here, so you've got your floor that you can make and then everything else. Now I've put doors and that in for the buildings because doors are a common thing for each building. The beds and that are in the personal space and the hospital because that's the only place you can place them. So I decided to add those into the menus there. The walls and cooking bridges and ladder and that are down here for easy excuse me, I'm not feeling too good. The bridges, fireplace and ladder, I reckon should be down here along with the walls, so you can place them nice and easily. I did prefer it before. This menu was a lot handier before they actually used to tell it to, before they actually started to tell it to close when you clicked on. Now it's not made it as useful, so I'm thinking about getting rid of that there again, seeing as you don't no longer need walls around zones, and just putting the campfire place up in here as a building as well, because it can be placed anywhere. Now, as you can see there's a new chicken farm icon, apple farm, pear farm. They're the only 3 new buildings I've added, and in the mines I've got, so you can mine, put a mine on top of 4 blocks of stone, 4 blocks of grass, and 4 blocks of flint. So you can get flint for your campfire, for your cooking fires. You can get sand for your dirt and mud for your mushroom farms, and stone for your stonemason, because eventually all the resources will dry out as you dig and dig and dig. For example, if I come down in here, see here, I've only been able to find that 1 iron mine, but as you can see, I've gone through almost half the map, and so eventually your resources will run dry, and therefore you will require the mines later on. With another thing with the map generator is, as you can see here, if I follow this down below, in some areas the outline of the water line up the top here, like that's water up there, you'd expect water to be down below. Guess what? No water down there. Yeah, well, we're not sure for sure yet, but I can tell you now there are some areas that might not have water down below that do have it up top, because with my algorithms in there in the XMLs to generate the lake files, the water can be go in or out accordingly as to random generation. So you can get varying depths of water as well as varying widths and lengths of water in the lakes. In my rivers I've got it set they are spawning either 1 deep or 2 deep, so therefore you mightn't see it here, but there's water up above. So once again it's better to go along the edges. See there, it's gone too deep. So yeah, it's very interesting in that for how I do it. How I get this all to line up with my town is I generally start with a grid pattern up here using stockpiles as a marker. Stockpiles with disable all on them, so that I can do the same type of check pattern as I do down here. From the bottom corner, I generally start off in a corner of the map and work my way out to where I want to start building, which in this case was wait. I think it must have been around here. Yep, there you go, there's the ladder going down there. What I did was I did up the dummy grid up on the top level here and told it to use that as the entry point, so it went down in the corner of on the actual passageways, not into the centre of a room. Now, as you can see here, I've got the game paused. Let's start it up. Actually, let's have a look at the quick production menu first. On here now you'll see I've added other things as well that weren't normally here. For example, your material screen. This isn't to make the stock, because if you adjust any of these sliders here, won't make any difference at all, because you cannot harvest any of this stuff. All it's here for is so you can see how much stock you've got of each item. For example, how many bits of wood there are out there already chopped, and flint and iron and mud, so that you can see whether you need to go and harvest some more stuff. And same with here, I've got all the utilities over here now, not just the auto produce ones. So once again you can set these to be produced, and to have a certain number of waiting in stock. One note about this is that with campfires they run out even if they're just in stock. They run out of time and they disappear. So be careful there. As for the food, I've got all the types of food up here now. So there's apples, pears, cactus fruit, mushrooms, fish which isn't even in the game yet, water buckets, flour and wheat which I'd forgotten to add in, which is now in the mod. As you can see here, I do not have any food locks or anything like that. It's not because of the extra production that I've got going on, because they take just the same amount as if I didn't have these chicken farms here, I'd just have more cows and pigs. Same with the apple trees and that. The apple trees and that are just there just so I can make these apple pies. But apples and pears are very low on the food scale, and they do not fill up people very much. I just use them as an ingredient. The hospital and the things one tip for new players is, because you no longer have to put walls around buildings to start with, what you can do is you can set up your areas large and bold to cater for growth. If you make them too small, then it's hard to grow into. When I set up my areas, I set them up to be at least to hold 10 of everything for within that area. For example, in here there's 10 kitchen tables, butcher's tables, 10 kitchen tables, 10 stoves and 10 cooking bowls. Now that's a complete works for up to 10 people. If there is an emergency and I do need to make lots of food at once, I can. Same with the bakery, there's 10 baker's tables and everything there. Now, in my stockpiles for my armour and that, I set it up so that they can they have at least four sets of armour in production at any time, because that's the maximum amount of new immigrants that you can get in the game at the moment. One thing with placing over here, if you see, come over here and you see you can place barrels directly. I never use that. I just use stockpiles to store my barrels in. You can even make a stockpile near the buildings, as I've done here, so they don't have to walk very far to do them. But it means then that if you ever want to move your barrels, they're not stuck in the one place. If I decide I don't want the stockyard here anymore, that I want to be able to extend my kitchen and bakery, all I do is come in here and right click and say destroy stockpile, and all those barrels then will be moved to wherever I tell it to move the new stockpile to, which makes things a hell of a lot easier than having them stuck there in the middle of where you want to put a wall or something like that without having to destroy them. To get rid of the food locks, as been explained in other videos, the best thing to make are cows and pigs, wheat, and a bakery, and then make meat pies. At the moment in the game, they are the most filling, the third most filling item in the game, and they're very easy to make. So don't waste your time building up and getting all this fruit, harvesting all these fruit things. As soon as you can, swap over to meat pies and you'll be set there. Now I've got an attack of vampires that have just hit. The best thing to do is to lock your gates down here. As you see, I've got one gate per wall, and I just lock them. Control key to make see-through walls and see-through buildings. Tab key just to remove the roof. So I'll lock all my walls and doors and that, so that they can't come in and nab me until they're really and truly well spread out. They started off up here in a tight little pack and they can't get through there, so they're working their way down, and as you can see they're starting to get spread right out, so it's a lot easier to take them on one at a time rather than a whole group of them, I would stand absolutely no chance in hell of defeating all these if they came in as a group. I might stand some chance, yes, even with 125 population. I might stand some chance when they go down there like that. Now, what else can I tell you? There's, get rid of that again. I've got approximately I've got more mills than 9 farms per mill, because yes, you only need 1 mill per 9 farms to handle all the production. However, when you build up your population level and people are busy collecting stuff all the time, it's better to have the mills producing stuff as quickly as it can, rather than having to wait for the mill to process the last 3 lots of wheat that you harvested from the 9 blocks, because it makes 3 wheat farms to make 1 flour. And while that's being processed, the other 2 are sitting here. The other 2 lots are sitting here doing nothing, which you could be using to make food. So that's why I have more mills than wheat farms. Well, about half as many mills as I do have wheat farms, to get that production up there. Yes, you only need 1 mill per 9, but in the actual gameplay, it doesn't follow the statistics. You need more mills to keep your food production flowing well. Now, with these mushroom farms, I started off, you've got to be very careful not to eat the mushrooms when you first find them, because I think that there's only 8 generated at first when the map gets started. So you have to be very, very careful not to eat them so you can grow your mushrooms. Mushroom stew is also very filling. It's one of my favourites. Now this is an example of my mud mine working away here to make mud for that. Now mud, because as you can imagine, gets produced very, very quickly. So therefore it doesn't take very long to amass up to a amount. And it takes a lot of people to go and quickly harvest all that mud. So you've got to keep your eye on its production so you can turn it off once it reaches a certain amount, or else your civilians and that will be worked to death as well, just operating that mine. Now, as I said, everything I add to the game's got balance to it. Like that would use up all your civilian manpower if you let it go, as well as fill up everything else so you can't build anything there. So that's a balance. There's a balancing act going on between everything. So yeah, anyway, so let's unpause the game and see how we handle these vampires, shall we? I know everybody wants to see my butt get handed to me. Now they've got 125, all fully outfitted. I have not gone down to level 3 yet. These are all the bedrooms and that I've got already. I've got room for approximately 130 people. Sorry, not yet, not in this one, that was in another one. This one's got room for about 120, 110 people. And as you can see, they said you can't get grass underground and that, but I've got jungle underground. And let's see, over here I think, yeah, just jungle. Sorry, yeah, I've got jungle underground, not grass. So they were correct there when they told me that you can't get grass underground. I've had jungle. Okay, that's probably for my new dungeon generation routine, map generation. So let's come back up here now and unlock this door. There, unlock the door. It says they come charging in. Yes, here they come. Try locking the door now again, and I don't think I can. Lock the... And they still came straight through because they've already targeted my citizens. So they just come bursting straight through the door. And off we go. Let's see how we do. Oh, looks like I'm going to beat them. Okay, let me pause that again. Wow, I beat the vampires. Yay! But it cost me a lot of civilians. One tip, when you're in battle and that, keep your eye on whether the bad guys are going to your hospital or not. If they are, just do a right click and delete the hospital, because people will not fight while they're resting up and healing. So that's another click. Just go right click on it and say delete hospital, and away you go. Same with it when you want to move stuff around. Say you don't like that layout anymore, you want to move your hospital. Right click, delete the hospital, and then all these items with the red X's on them can be moved, including those which haven't come up with the red marks on them so that they can be moved, but they can be moved. So if I put the hospital over here, say, let's see, buildings, hospital, if I put the floor, hospital floor, if I put that building down over here now, and I go bed, place it here, 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 there, there. Okay. Now, what they will do is they will pick up those beds there in preference to going and making another one, and I'll come and place it. Now watch. And away you go. That's how you move your furniture around. You do not need to delete it and waste stock and resources and time and effort rebuilding, because that's not how it has to be done. It doesn't have to be done that way. So, and same with these medicine cabinets. If I just click on here, I'll go and pick them up and bring them down. I don't know if this works with the chests and storage containers. I've got a funny feeling that they were added in later, so I don't know if they work the same. But this is how generally the stuff works, and if you destroy the stockpile, everything that's in there gets locked. Same with the floors, anything that's in there gets locked. There are a couple of restrictions, like wall, it won't do it with walls or with pig farms. There's no way to destroy the ploughed fields, so therefore you can't get rid of that pig farms by doing it that way. Okay, well anyway, I think this has gone on long enough for this video. I hope to be starting up a Let's Play. Just let me know what you want to hear. And I know I have been asking for subscriptions or comments, but I do want them. I'd love to hear your comments, and I'd really need to know how many people like and dislike my videos, and also please subscribe. I've been telling myself that I won't be asking for people to subscribe, but because I haven't been asking people to subscribe, I don't have any subscriptions except from my 12-year-old son. Even though I've had over 300 views now, not one person subscribed, and I've just had 2 comments. And it just makes me feel like, you know, why do I bother? You know, if you want me to keep making videos, subscribe and comment. If you want me to keep up with these mod packs that I'm doing, tell me about it. You know, and even in a video response, respond to me and say, you know, wow, look at this map that I made, and stuff like that. All that is very inspiring to me and to other people, especially other people who make YouTube videos as well. Anyway, it's Camp Blue Steel here, signing off for another broadcast. So I'll catch you all later. Okay, bye.